All right, financial titans Warren Buffett and Jamie Dimon teaming up to take down quarterly earnings guidance. A practice the two financial legends say not only hurts business, but the economy at large by focusing on, well, yeah, the short term versus the long game for companies. The controversial recommendation sending tongues wagging across Wall Street with some of the J.P. Morgan chief's closest colleagues, now saying this move could actually be the first step in a potential turn from the C-suite to the Oval Office for Mr. Dimon. Joining us now with the exclusive details on two big stories today is Charlie Gasparino. So what are you hearing about this one?
Well, Cheryl, let's put the letter in context. I mean, the critique and the criticism of using quarterly guidance and Wall Street and analysts and investors so worried about the next quarter, that notion of short-termism is not a new concept. I mean, these guys essentially are late to the game. So you got to ask yourself, I mean, Larry Fink was talking about this 3 years ago in a big way. This always comes up. So you got to ask yourself, what motivated Warren Buffett and particularly Jamie Dimon, who's not at the end of his career, Warren Buffett is at the end of his career, what motivated them to bring up this sort of old subject? And what I'm hearing from friends pretty close to Jamie is that what they're telling me is that this is the first step, first fairly public step in putting him out there in a way that positions him for a post-J.P. Morgan career in politics. Now, I asked these friends, how do you know that? They say because it comes up from time to time in conversations with Mr. Dimon. He does not deny he's looking for politics as the next step as a post-J.P. Morgan career. And by the way, he's not going to be at J.P. Morgan forever. I mean, maybe next 3 years he's likely to be out of there. A lot of people talk about that. So what office might he go for? Well, he lives in New York City. I'm sure he has homes all over the place. He's a rich guy. But the big office is the one that his friends say he may consider, and that's presidency. Would he run as a Democrat, a Republican, or an independent? I can't tell you. But this is at least what people say. And, you know, it's easy to see that transition in this guy. You know, he sees Donald Trump doing it. Donald Trump never ran a bank the size of his. You know, this guy knows how to deal with various constituencies. He understands politics. I would say he's a fiscal conservative, social moderate, kind of fits within the sort of mainstream of American politics. Plus, he's really smart. Plus, he can raise money. I mean, this is a guy that's pretty well positioned. Now, what does he say about this publicly? It's interesting if you look at his comments on this, Cheryl. It's, I have no intention. Anytime anybody says they have no intention, you know, they're weasel worded you around this. That means right now they might not want to do it, but you know they're holding it open because it's the obvious next step for him. Yeah. Listen, if he doesn't run for office, I can see Jamie Dimon being a professor. It's going to be one or the other. But a lot of his friends say it's higher office, and don't be surprised if at some point he considers running for president. That's where he is right now. Now I'm here in Times Square.
I was going to say,
it's beautiful here.
You're where all the money is right now, Charlie. I want to ask you about exactly why you're in Times Square at the Sheraton, because you're where the epicenter of football and money meet. The best place to be, I think, today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and by the way, we were being spied on by the NFL earlier today, worried about some of my reporting on the sort of consternation that the sponsors, this is their sponsor summit. Roger Goodell is inside, many of the owners with the sponsors, Anheuser-Busch, Visa, PepsiCo should be here. There's a lot of worry inside with these sponsors that the NFL has to deal with over this one knee controversy. I mean, let's be real clear here. Whether you agree with the players taking one knee, whether you like the NFL's new position, which if you want to take one knee, do it in the locker room. You cannot do it outside during the anthem. No matter which way you put it, the fans, by and large, don't like it. And what some of the sponsors here are worried about is if that sort of dislike from fans, that sort of they get some sort of backlash that impacts their brands. I can tell you last year when this stuff was really boiling up, President Trump tweeting a lot about it. He's still tweeting about it. Yeah. PepsiCo was inundated with calls, negative calls from consumers about their sponsorship of the NFL while the NFL was allowing players to take one knee during the anthem. So that's essentially what they're talking about in there. Again, you know, we haven't been. They don't let us in. We're not a sponsor. We're not a member here. I have talked to people who are in there, and there is a lot of worried people in there about the business of the NFL and how this one knee controversy is affecting it.
Look at what happened to Papa John's. That's the perfect example there, Charlie. Great stuff from you.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah. All right.